What is up? What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? We got 2 videos on this already. Police bust human trafficking ring in Metro Detroit. We live. We're doing our live channel also, but this is like breaking news. Let's give them a thumbs up. So, hey, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out, man.
Now to a human trafficking bust resulting in multiple arrests and the rescue of nearly 10 victims. Homes and businesses across Macomb and Wayne counties were raided by police earlier today. They tell us the victims from China and Korea were enduring forced labor in horrific living conditions. 7 News Detroit reporter Brett Cast joins us with more on the raids and the messages from authorities and the state's attorney general. Brett?
Well, this nondescript business behind me here on 8 Mile in Detroit is just one of the many massage parlors throughout Southeast Michigan that police say is allegedly part of a human trafficking organization, and they warn there could be more of these businesses out there. A raid months in the making, happening all across Metro Detroit at homes and massage parlors, all allegedly part of an international human trafficking ring.
This operation has put an end to a significant human trafficking ring, as large as any that we've uncovered here in the state of Michigan.
Attorney General Dana Nessel announced the results of the sweeping investigation that began in the summer after St. Clair Shores police got a tip about an illicit massage parlor on Harper near 12 Mile. Eventually combining with another investigation, they uncovered other massage parlors in Sterling Heights and 2 in Detroit that allegedly trafficked women from China and Korea for prostitution.
These are folks that are kept in these buildings. They're not allowed to leave. They were even taken to gyms just for the purposes of showering and then brought back. You know, they don't have a life. This is their entire life.
For those who work near Magic Health Spa on 8 Mile, they're not surprised to hear what the business was allegedly up to.
I've seen the police come there before. Really? So it wasn't the first time.
It's not a traditional massage. They're walking out with bottles of water. They're walking in, hoods up, just kind of tucked away. So you know a unsavory business when you see one.
From their undercover investigation, Nessel announced charges against 5 people. All.
Wow. Okay. I get so emotional. I get a little too attached to it. So I'm gonna talk, but not right now. I'm just happy. I'm so happy that justice is coming through. I think 2025, man, they're gonna do a lot of breaking down some doors, and I don't blame them. Aren't y'all tired of this? You know, you violating my constitutional rights. Yeah, okay, all right.
Accused of helping run the organization. Police are also collecting more evidence from inside the business, like computers, business, and bank records.
We believe this ring is only a part of a larger national criminal syndicate, and our investigation remains ongoing as we delve into the trove of evidence acquired today.
The Attorney General also making it clear there are also likely many more illicit massage parlors that are out there, and they only survive because customers keep them in business.
We want to make sure that people understand this is not a victimless crime. It's very much a crime that involves people who are victims of some of the most, horrendous behavior you can imagine.
You know, if it's happening right here in my neighborhood, who knows where it could be happening all over.
Well, the Attorney General says they are working to find housing for these victims, and they're encouraging anyone who sees something to say something. In Detroit, I'm Brett Cast, 7 News, Detroit.
Okay. That's just the grand opening right there. That's just the grand opening. So, oh man, I don't know how to. Let's do this. Maybe it'll jump to the next one. All right. I gotta set it up, y'all. Y'all bear with me. I know one thing. One of the main things that trip me out is now we did one in New Jersey. They found one in New Jersey. And now we're in Detroit locking them down, baby. So we need to help these people some kind of way, man. I don't know if y'all got any ideas of trying to help. I'm looking for solutions. I want solutions. So This one right here is 33 minutes long. So
Thanks
let's see what we
everybody
got.
for joining us here today.
This must be the whole speech
Standing
of
up
the
here with
whole
me, we
situation.
have
Let's check it
Assistant
out.
Attorney General Melissa 𝗟𝗡𝗞𝗦, who serves as the chair of the Michigan Human Trafficking Commission. Department of Attorney General Criminal Justice Bureau Chief Danielle Hageman-Clark, Chief of Criminal Investigations Aubrey Sargent, Department of Attorney General First Assistant in the Criminal Trials Division Danielle Rousseau-Bennett, HSI Detroit Special Agent in
It
Charge
helped Florida
Angie
too.
Salazar,
Helping
the
Florida.
Director of Michigan State Police Colonel James Grady, and St. Clair Shores Deputy Chief Paul Plaza. Did I get everybody? Oh, Robin. I'm sorry. Robin Liddell, who is our division chief of our criminal division in the Department of Attorney General. So over the course of the last several hours today and continuing at this present time, my office alongside Michigan State Police, MSP Comet, the Federal Homeland Security Investigations, St. Clair Shores Police
Thanks,
Department,
Layla.
and
London.
Sterling Heights Police
London?
Department executed search and arrest warrants against 4 individuals, 2 residences, and 4 alleged illicit massage parlors throughout Wayne and Macomb counties in connection to an international human trafficking ring and forced commercial sex work. In the course of our searches of the 4 massage parlors today, we liberated 7 to 9 women of Chinese and Korean nationality from the horrors of what we allege to be a sex trafficking ring right here in Metro Detroit. The reason I'm saying 7 and 9 is because it's not clear to us yet who was a victim and who might be a criminal defendant. We're presently coordinating housing and other resources for these victims alongside community partners Avalon Healing, Garden of Hope, Beauty for Ashes, Common Ground, and Asian Services in Action, or ASIA, as they begin to put their lives back together after weeks and months of forced commercial sex work in our communities. I want to say the totality of what we'll be describing today are only allegations, of course, legally speaking. All the defendants at this stage of the criminal justice proceedings are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law, though proving these charges is absolutely what we intend to do. Our lengthy and thorough investigation began in the summer of this year and involves several law enforcement agencies on the local, state, and federal levels, several undercover police operations within the illicit parlors, and employed extensive physical and digital surveillance of the subject massage parlors and numerous suspects, requiring scrutinizing business records and registrations, and we employed a victim-centered anti-human trafficking law enforcement approach. This operation has put an end to a significant human trafficking ring, as large as any that we've uncovered here in the state of Michigan. And we believe this ring is only a part of a larger national criminal syndicate. And our investigation remains ongoing as we delve into the trove of evidence acquired today. It should be made clear that Michigan will be no harbor for the heinous trafficking trade for forced labor, sexual or otherwise. Today, through the tremendous coordinated efforts of dozens of law enforcement officers, we arrested Qianzhu Zhen, a 45-year-old woman who travels with a Chinese passport, who we allege to be the head of this trafficking ring. Jin's primary residence is in Flushing, New York. She was arrested by the Michigan State Police after arriving in Michigan this morning. She's charged with conducting a criminal enterprise, a 20-year felony, conspiracy to conducting a criminal enterprise, a 20-year felony, accepting earnings from prostitution, a 20-year felony, transportation for the purposes of prostitution, a 20-year felony, money laundering, second degree, a 10-year felony, and keeping a house of prostitution, a 5-year felony.
All of them should be
Howzi
50-year
Piao,
felonies.
a 60-year-old woman from China who assisted with the operations of several parlors with Ming Li, is charged with conducting a criminal enterprise and multiple other felonies, including 2 counts of keeping a house of prostitution and 1 count of money laundering a 10-year felony for washing parlor earnings through extensive gameplay at various Detroit casinos. Also charged, 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗞𝗦, a 60-year-old man from Clinton Township, a Michigan resident, American citizen who worked in service of this ring, providing transportation of the trafficking victims between airports and other parlors. He's charged with conducting a criminal enterprise, conspiracy to commit conducting a criminal enterprise, and transportation in service of prostitution, a 20-year felony. And Mike,
Who? I don't know. I don't know, y'all, because I don't know how the laws and things work. But whose job is it, or who makes the decision on? I don't know, if you steal from a store and it's $100 worth, you get X amount of time in jail. Or if you steal somebody's car, you get X amount of time. If you sell drugs, you get X amount of time. Who determines that? Because they made a big mistake. If you take a human being, that should be 100 years. If you was involved in taking a human being, that should be 100 years to life. If you are involved in any type of trafficking, taking a human being or the advantage of another human being on this earth is against the law. And I know one thing, my people should be the first to stand up. That's just straight up slavery. And this, that's slavery. 100 years, dude. We should not tolerate this at all. Don't do it. If you don't want to do the time, I don't understand. That's the part I can't understand. 20 years, my foot.
Michael Navoy, a 70-year-old Michigan resident of Allen Park, who has been charged by the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office with human trafficking, forced labor resulting in commercial sex activity, human trafficking, forced labor, accepting earnings of prostitution, keeping a house of prostitution, and use of a computer to commit a crime. Charges have also been filed against the following who are not yet in custody. 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦, a 53-year-old man who is a non-citizen from West Africa, who is believed to be both a business and domestic partner of 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗞𝗦 and an essential part of operating the criminal enterprise. 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 assisted 𝗟𝗜𝗡 in the operations of multiple illicit massage parlors within this particular criminal enterprise, and is charged with conducting a criminal enterprise, conspiracy to commit conducting a criminal enterprise, accepting earnings from prostitution, and keeping a house of prostitution. We believe 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 to be out of the country at this current time. Ming Lee, a 59-year-old man who is an undocumented immigrant, is alleged to be the owner of multiple illicit massage parlors involved with this ring. Lee is charged with conducting a criminal enterprise, conspiracy to commit conducting a criminal enterprise, keeping a house of prostitution, and a few more crimes, I think. There are two other charges on him.
The conspiracy to commit, and then the keeping the house.
Okay, thanks. Efforts remain underway to bring Lee into custody and will continue today. The charges against 𝗟𝗜𝗡𝗞𝗦 and 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 have been filed in the 40th District Court in the city of St. Clair Shores, and the charges against Lee and Powell have been filed in the 36th District Court in Detroit. The charges against Navoy have been filed in the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office in the 28th District Court in Southgate. As some of these defendants are believed to be non-citizens of this country and pose certain flight risks, and while we have each in custody, we are requesting that the courts not offer any bond and secure their passports. Their arraignments are not yet scheduled. This investigation began as two separate cases. One started with the St. Clair Shores Police Department investigating a suspected illicit massage parlor in their city, alleged today to be a house of prostitution, and a criminal enterprise profiting from the forced commercial sex servitude of helpless victims trafficked across an ocean more than 6,000 miles from home. The second investigation began with Michigan State Police assisting the Maumee Police Department in Ohio, and that led to the discovery of numerous illicit massage parlors in Southeast Michigan. One of the agencies learned of each other's work, and with the overlap of defendants, they began to coordinate their investigations, and that's what's led to the arrest today of these 4 individuals. Through physical surveillance efforts, our investigative team observed various members of this alleged criminal enterprise moving between parlors, airports, casinos, and residences, and we're able to piece together a clear picture of how this trafficking ring conducted its operations here in Michigan. And we look forward to detailing this investigation much more completely in the courts. In addition to the arrest warrants for each of the charged individuals, our operation today executed search warrants at 4 alleged illicit massage parlors in Wayne and Macomb counties. So search warrants were executed at 111 Healing Studios in St. Clair Shores, which is on Harper near 12 Mile Road, AM Healing Studio in Sterling Heights near the intersection of Metro Parkway and Mound, Magic Health Spa in Detroit and 8 Mile Road in Lasher, 8 Star Spa in Detroit on 8 Mile near I-75, and additionally 2 search warrants were executed at residences of several of these individuals that were charged in Detroit.
Yeah, you right. Star Built, you right. I wanna let stomach is for a little while. I'll make up something anyway. I seriously think that for 30 minutes to an hour, your constitutional rights should be violated. Everybody in the United States, Alaska and Hawaii, do a search of humans. We ain't tripping off your drugs. We ain't tripping off of whatever you got in your house. We should do this. This is my suggestion. Come in there and we looking for human beings being hid, or how many people at each household. We unusual locks on the door for no reason. Who's staying in here? You know, all that. Look. If everything match up, no problem. If you ain't hiding nothing, good. We can check. And then I do a check off list. Like if they come to your house and you got a normal 100%, you get a score of 1,000 all the way down the list. That's all I'm saying.
And in Clinton Township. And
I
while
bet you
evidence
find a lot of missing kids then.
Preliminarily, I can say that our officers seized numerous cell
That's
phones,
what Trump should do.
business documents, bank records, cash, computers, vehicle, and more evidence. And as we continue to process all of
We live, y'all, so I'm talking to the live side too. If we was to do that, you know, my constitutional rights was violated. Well, we didn't find nothing, so I mean, you had some illegal guns and drugs or whatever. We overlooking that stuff. We looking for human beings, live ones at least.
and speak with the victims that were uncovered today. We sift through all that we'll collect and learn in the weeks ahead. The investigation remains very active and ongoing and a very expansive endeavor. And it's possible that this ring represents only a small portion of a much larger criminal conspiracy. Our efforts will continue to root out human trafficking wherever we find it across the state. And right here in Michigan and throughout the country, men, women, and children are forced into commercial sex work, domestic servitude, and other forced labor in what we can only call a form of modern day slavery. Unfortunately, human trafficking is thriving and growing as a criminal industry worldwide. I have here in my office worked to lead the fight against these horrendous crimes by charging criminal cases under the state law banning human trafficking in Michigan. And we've continued prosecutions into both sex and labor trafficking. My commitment in prosecuting these cases, though sometimes poorly understood in courtrooms across the state, remains steadfast and unwavering. And I'm also hopeful that our human trafficking legislation, sponsored by Representative Kelly Breen, will be passed through the Michigan House next week. And this case truly highlights why our laws need to be changed to better protect victims of trafficking. And I anticipate strong bipartisan support following its unanimous passage through both the Senate and the House Judiciary Committee. And again, just on a status with that, we are awaiting a vote of the full House in the House of Representatives. I was told that this was going to be voted on the other day, and then suddenly it was pulled from the agenda. I can't think of a single reason why even one member of the House of Representatives would vote against this. And I urge them to get these bills passed as quickly as possible. We badly need them here in the state of Michigan. I'm so grateful and thankful to the many partners my office has had in this investigation. These arrests, the takedown of 4 illicit massage parlors, the liberation of various victims of human trafficking today in our communities, all the result of an incredible effort by several law enforcement agencies represented by the men and women standing up here with me now. If you are a victim of human trafficking or you've identified someone you think might need help, please contact the National Human Trafficking Resource Center at 888-373-3788, or you can text 233-733. This national toll-free hotline is available to answer calls and texts and chats from anywhere in the country, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day of the year, and all calls are confidential. Additionally, resources are available, including some red flags to help identify human trafficking on my department website at mi.gov/human trafficking. And I encourage each and every one of you, media, residents alike, to familiarize yourself with the signs of how to respond if you have identified what you believe to be a human trafficking victim. I want to offer my very sincere thanks to the St. Clair Shores Police Department, including Deputy Chief Paul Plaza, Detective Jesse Smith, and Sergeant Tim Pickens, to the Michigan State Police, including, of course, Colonel James Grady, Detective Lieutenant Ed Price, Detective Sergeant Les Rochford, and Detective Sergeant John Walden, and MSP Comet. Homeland Security investigations, including Special Agent in Charge Angie Salazar, Special Agent Emily Zabracki, Special Agent Kyle Galbraith, and Special Agent Argent Palumbo, right? And TSA investigations, and all the amazing community partners and victim advocates who are there to support victims of these very heinous crimes. And I also want to thank Kristen Cartwright from the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, who's handling the case in Wayne County. So thanks to everybody. And now we are going to have Colonel Grady address everyone.
Right before he talk, I want to say, I can't even bring this up. God dang it, you can't even bring that up. Y'all remember the 3 kids? And I understand the Constitution, you got to hold it up and all that stuff, but something needs to be done different in this today's world, because back then they didn't think all this was going to go down. But for 10 years, there was 3 girls missing, 3 missing women found in the most unexpected way. Cleveland, that guy who was out with the family in the neighborhood, this guy was helped looking for the kids, and he had them in his house all this time. Again, if you had the people, military coming through house to house, they would have found them people. It wouldn't have taken 10 years to accidentally sneak out of the house. That's all I'm saying. No matter what happens, it's going to work for some people. A lot of people going to be against it, whatever. But something needs to be done. I'm just giving you some suggestions.
Good afternoon. It's great to see everyone this afternoon.
But this ain't it.
Thank you, Attorney General, for having me here today. Thank you for your partnership we have developed between our 2 agencies. The investigation moved a lot more quickly with the support of the Assistant Attorney Generals that have been assigned. Criminals do not recognize borders between city, county, and the state. I want to thank St. Clair Shores and Sterling Heights Police Departments this afternoon, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office and the Homeland Security Investigations, the Detroit office, for all of the hard work that our detectives have been working together to save those who were impacted by human trafficking. It really does take a collaborative effort to have success in this. I am extremely proud of the work that the 2nd District Special Investigative Section, the Trafficking and Abduction Group, our MSP victim advocates, and our MSP gaming section have been doing excellent work. And while we remain committed to investigating human trafficking here in Michigan, we are also working to educate our communities on the signs of human trafficking through programs such as Truckers Against Trafficking. Our motor carrier officers have partnered with this organization since 2015. Again, the collaborations are extremely important for us to have success. To report suspected human trafficking, I'm going to provide a number to you. It's 1-888-373-7888. The Michigan State Police has other platforms in which you could call in through 1-800-MICH-TIP, OK to say. There are a number of ways to provide information so that we can follow up and properly investigate so that we can reduce human trafficking. It is, one person being trafficked is way too many, but it really does truly take not only us in the criminal justice community, but the residents across this state to assist us as well. So please utilize those platforms to make us aware of human trafficking that is ongoing in your area. Thank you.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I'm Andrew Salazar. I am the Special Agent in Charge for Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, here in Detroit. And as you've already heard, in order to truly fight human trafficking, partnerships are key. And so I want to start by thanking and extending my gratitude to the Michigan Attorney General's Office, Michigan State Police, the St. Clair Shores and Sterling Heights Police Departments, TSA Investigations, and all of our law enforcement partners who assisted in today's operation. As you've heard, this morning, we had a joint successful operation into a human trafficking investigation. Right now, our special agents, victim assistance specialists, forensic interviewers are working to gather more evidence and ensure these victims receive the care and services they need. HSI stands committed to combat human trafficking, not just here in Michigan, but across the nation and around the world. Our efforts rely on strong partnerships with local, state, federal law enforcement and our non-governmental organization partnerships. This way we can hold traffickers accountable and protect victims. At HSI, we follow a victim-centered approach, placing as much importance on supporting survivors as we do on prosecuting the criminals. This approach ensures victims have a voice and the resources they need to rebuild their lives. I'm immensely proud of the work our team does every day to dismantle trafficking networks and deliver justice for those who cannot speak for themselves. Together, we are sending a clear message. Human trafficking will not be tolerated in our communities. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦, Deputy Chief, St. Clair Shores Police Department. Again, thank you to all the law enforcement partners we have. I think this is a great example of see something, say something. In our town, at least, it started off with residents or citizens seeing something suspicious, taking that step to report it. Our detectives investigated, found out that it was much larger than we suspected. And again,
See something, say something. It's easier said than done. I know plenty of people who saw something and said, they said, well, man, you keep snitching. You snitching. No, that's not right. I saw something and it said something. And with the strength and the stuff that I have, it took a whole month to keep saying, this ain't right. It took a whole month, officers. Come on, man, don't get me into this mode. I'm not doing that today. Not today. I see myself on the screen and I don't like it. see something, say something. That's easy to say. A lot of these people seen something and they said something and nothing happened. So they kept their mouth shut from here on out.
Having the cooperation of all the law enforcement
That's a start, though. That's
community, federal, state, county, all levels. Our detectives did a fantastic job, along with all officers. So for the officers out there on the street, the ones conducting the search warrants, making the traffic stops, thank you for your hard work. This is a problem that probably goes on more than people realize. It is important. Again, I'll reiterate, when you see something that looks suspicious, there's probably something to it. Please report it. There's agencies that will, as we did, investigate it and use the resources available to conclude this and get victims to safety and arrest those who need to be arrested. So again, thank you very much. That's all I have for you now.
All right. Well, with that, guess we'll take some questions.
Yeah, can you please talk about the victims? I think you say 7 to 9.
Right.
And where are they from?
They're from China and also from Korea. And we've not established yet whether it's North or South Korea or both.
And have they helped at all? I don't know if there's a language barrier, but are they able to talk about how they ended up where they are?
Right. I mean, that's the hope, right? This just happened. And obviously, we were prepared for there to be a language barrier. So we wanted to make sure that we had language access available so that those conversations could be had. And, you know, they're being interviewed, but also, you know, being provided housing. And of course, we want to make sure that in the event they need medical attention, that we're doing that and that they're taken care of. And I will say, you know, one of the big challenges to prosecuting human trafficking cases is that these folks are scared. You know, they're terrified. And we want to do everything we can to make sure that they feel as safe and secure as possible. But those interviews and those conversations are being had as we speak.
I'm sorry, finally, do you believe that they were brought to the U.S. Illegally?
Yes. I mean, not illegally. They're here legally, correct?
They're here legally.
Right.
They're here legally.
Correct.
Yeah, Alyssa.
Is there any investigation of people who may have visited this massage parlors at all?
I think that part of the investigation obviously will be if there's any record keeping and, you know, any potential crimes will be investigated from there. I mean, I will say this, these illicit massage parlors, they're only profitable because they have customers, right? And I think it's an important message to people who frequent these types of massage parlors. And let me be very clear, if you're at an illegal massage parlor, you know it. It's not a surprise. In the case of some of these parlors that we're talking about, you know, when you have to get buzzed in, it's probably illegal. When the women who are performing the massage are wearing lingerie, it's probably illegal. When they offer you a menu of services that are sexual in nature, it is definitely illegal.
You hear that? So if you get a menu with all these sex options, it's illegal. I would love to say, put a 1 in the chat if you already knew that's illegal. If they give you a menu with all these, maybe some people don't know that. If you pay, you can have this type of, in this, maybe if you pay for that, but this is, we're running a special bonus on this, so you can get that or whatever, a menu, right? For real. I say all y'all need to be out there looking for them kids. That's what I say.
So we want to make sure that people understand this is not a victimless crime. It's very much a crime that involves people who are victims of some of the most, you know, horrendous behavior you can imagine. I mean, these are folks that are kept in these buildings. They're not allowed to leave. They were even taken to gyms just for the purposes of showering and then brought back. You know, they don't have a life. This is their entire life. And it's a terrible way to live. So if you are frequenting an illicit
for goodness
parlor,
sakes, I want to talk to you. Give me what
That means that you talk about the effort to go after individuals patronized
exactly 10 more minutes. This video will be
That's
over
going to be
with.
part of the investigation.
So when people were calling about seeing things suspicious, what exactly were they saying? Like, what did they report exactly?
Sure. Well, without sometimes you got to be careful because of where the source of information may come from. But a lot of things are associated with people at these massage parlors. You don't see employees come and go like you normally would. So a lot of times they may stay at these places during odd hours. You don't see them coming and going to work like you would normally see. The kind of clientele as well that you see going in. When you have weekly massages, perhaps at the same people, that might be an indication. And then word gets out. It's hard to keep that quiet for too long. People speak, and some people who hear these things take a stand and report it. So that's what happened in our case. Someone saw something suspicious. They didn't see a business operating as it normally should. Hard to kind of put that together, but when something doesn't seem right, surveillance is conducted, and we move forward from there.
Yeah.
Do you think there are other operations?
That's the same thing I have said. They're not thinking, oh, that's the one. It didn't look like the one. The police are not thinking like a person of you got to think like a victim. You got to understand some of the things that the victim went through in order to be able to, you got to think like a criminal in order to catch a criminal. That's all I'm saying. So I'm keeping my comments real short this time.
Within this reign still in Michigan or other states?
I think it's likely,
Until we do the live.
All right. Well, can you describe just how sophisticated this network is to, stay out of sight from authorities?
Well, I don't know that they did stay out of sight from authorities, but
Hey, how long were they operating before?
Do you want to answer that?
Well, without giving too much detail, because most of the detail has to come out in court, I will just say that this is an operation that involved crossing state lines. So you have individuals who do not live in the state of Michigan, and they would be coming in to Michigan, making their rounds, going to the casino to launder their money, and then exiting the state of Michigan. So these are buildings that don't get a ton of the only people coming and going into these buildings are people who are asking for the illicit massages. So it's not something that is going to be in everybody's face. These are buildings that are not necessarily marked for the purpose that they are there for.
Hillary.
Is there some way to characterize how ubiquitous this is? This is the first time we've heard about massage parlors clearly where there's illicit activity going on. Is there a way to characterize how ubiquitous you think this activity is?
I mean, we think it's widespread. It's just, again, these are difficult crimes to prosecute. And that's probably why you don't see, more investigations and prosecutions. And again, part of it has to do with the fact that you have victims that are, very reluctant to testify, and where it's difficult for them to do so, especially here where you have people who they're not from the United States. They might not have anybody at all here, and may have been promised something in exchange for coming here, and that they might be able to work off a debt that they can never actually work off. So this, again, is one of the reasons why we're asking the legislature to please pass these laws that make it much easier for us to prosecute these cases. There are a lot of barriers right now, and the
You ain't got to pass no law, baby. All you got to do is give me the word. Me and my boys gonna handle all that. You ain't got to pass no. Just give me the word. Act like you gave me the word. Give me a signal. Shoot, these boys in the street with the shoot them up and bang bang. They on the YouTube videos. They ready to shoot up some stuff. We got some real soldiers out here. Y'all doing it wrong, man. That's all.
Legislature could do something to make it easier, and to make sure that we're,
Y'all trying to do it the humane way, and they just having their way in the streets.
we are targeting the right people. The last thing that we want to be doing is to be charging people who are victims of human trafficking with criminal offenses. But unfortunately, in the past, that's something that has happened all too frequently, because they are the most obvious person who has committed some sort of crime. But really, again, they're victims. They are being trafficked. They're not there voluntarily. They're not there because they want to be engaged or involved in this kind of conduct. So I think it's a significant problem. And hopefully, again, we'll have more tools available in order to be able to expose that and to be able to stop some of these parlors from, continuing to engage in this trafficking activity. And I'm really grateful for all the partnerships that you see up here. And for the purposes of my office, I'm particularly thankful for the hard work of 𝗟𝗡𝗞𝗦, who's only been in this position for about a year now, and has done some tremendous work. And I'm hoping that people will hear this, see this, and know that if you are engaged in human trafficking through one of these illicit sex parlors, it's only a matter of time, hopefully, before we discover you.
And were there any additional raids that occurred prior to this morning as part of the investigation?
As part of this investigation? No. Well, okay, just check. No.
Will there be any efforts to reunite victims with their family members or anything like that?
Well, they don't have family members here. They would have to go home for that, right? But there's a special visa, a T visa, it's called. And it's expressly for the purposes of making sure that people are not getting deported if they are human trafficking victims. So they will be provided with those. I don't want to speak for HSI, but
they're entitled to certain, if they're here illegally now, so they'll be entitled. The federal law allows for a short-term permission to stay, and then a longer term, which is a T visa for victims who've been identified as victims of human trafficking held against their will.
I have another one from Gina. We'll do a couple more if there are.
Yeah.
You mentioned that new legislation will make it easier to charge.
Check this out, y'all. Check this out. This coming from my live stream right here. This will trip me out right here. I am awake to all of it. No way I would trust. They're not trusting Child Protective Services. And you can't say all in any situation. It's just a couple of bad seeds within your organization. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying the whole thing is corrupted. Bring the kids to the door and they all go out back. No, they got to keep a clean act going on. But what I'm saying is some of these people that has been through this are saying that I've been through the system and they didn't help much. And I'm not pointing out nobody's name, Starbell or anything like that. But my point is something a little different needs to be done. You got to fight fire with fire. You can't be thinking you're going to not violate somebody's rights when they over here violating all these people.
glad that you asked. I have the list here. So what these bills do is they give prosecutors additional tools to hold traffickers accountable, while also provided the much needed support and tools for survivors in Michigan to reclaim their lives and to move forward. And how do we do that? By allowing survivors of human trafficking to have criminal convictions set aside if those offenses were a direct result of their victimization. They provide an affirmative defense for survivors if a crime was committed as a consequence of being trafficked. And you heard me say earlier, we're not sure how many victims there are, right? Sometimes you have people who have been trafficked, but then they move to another station.
For goodness sake.
They're actually now part of this criminal enterprise that is, holding people captive. So, that is an issue. Modifying safe harbor protection for minors who are victims of sex and labor trafficking. It sets criteria for expert testimony in human trafficking cases. It would add to the hearsay exception and allow for such statements to come in if they were made not only by a victim of domestic violence, but also a victim of human trafficking. It would expand the reach of the statute that allows for admission of other prior similar acts to include admission of other acts of commercial sexual activity, prostitution, and human trafficking instead of only domestic violence or sexual assault cases. And it would help hold perpetrators of these crimes accountable by allowing jurors to consider an abuser's or trafficker's true nature or the abusers and traffickers' plans regarding human trafficking offenses. Now, so I'm wrapping up my 6th year as Attorney General of this state. So that's 3 legislative terms that we've tried to get this legislation through. There is no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse for these laws not being passed. Again, we have a little bit more time in lame duck. We've already made it through one chamber, and I'm asking the House of Representatives to do their job and to help us pursue these heinous crimes and to assist survivors of them.
Yeah, Melissa.
Were any of the victims minors involved in this or anything?
No, not that we discovered today.
Ed, you want to close this out?
You have people here from state and local agencies, some from the federal government. And you talked about people moving from state to state overseas. Does the U.S. Attorney's Office have an interest in these types of cases? Does that matter? Would that help? These are very complicated efforts. I'm wondering why someone says in federal court.
Well, you know, I mean, we will probably be discussing this case with the U.S. Attorney's Office and seeing how we can work, you know, further in collaborating in terms of federal crimes and state crimes. But at this point, you know, we were the lead agency in terms of prosecuting agency. We obviously both have authority, right? We have state laws and we have some pretty significant laws when it comes to human trafficking. But we work with federal partnerships and just we charge these particular cases. There may be other crimes that can be charged by the U.S. Attorney's Office. We'll see.
Yeah. Sorry, it caught me. Yeah, we at the end. Man, this is a shame. Yeah, get the word out. Definitely get the word out. And I'm glad that they are doing this to get the word out there. But one of the things that we got to try something new. We gotta stop worrying about hurting the people that's doing bad things, hurting their feelings. If I wish we lived in a world where the cops, you know, if the cops say, excuse me, let me see your ID. A lot of people going back and forth like, if the police ask you to show your ID, you don't have to show your ID. And that makes a gray area. Man, if the police ask me for my ID, I'm just gonna show them the ID. I ain't done that. I want this man to hurry up and do what he got to do so I can get on with my business. If we was to go, for goodness sakes, we got to talk about this when we finish this video right now. If we go house to house, I ain't saying announce it. Hey, y'all, we about to go house to house. Nah, if it was a randomly thing going on, like Homeland Security, forget all that. We talking about, I don't know, every state has X amount of people that go around house to house. Ma'am, bloop, like a warrant. There's a warrant to search your house. It's like a 30 minutes to an hour of violation to raid your house, so to speak. I'm just making it up as I go, right? But what we're going to do is we're looking for humans. Anything else you got, we closing our eyes to, man. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm not, I know I'm not using the right words, but dude, I am looking for my belongings. Anything else you can go on about your business with. I'm just looking for my stuff. We're looking for them kids. Where are the kids? Everybody want to know where the kids at? This is how we find them. This is how we find them. You got a better way? Don't tell nobody where you searching at or when it's coming. You're going to get a knock on your door. Show the paper. Right then and there, you gotta research all and look through all kinds of stuff. If you got a better way to do it, here's your 30 minutes to an hour. Your constitutional rights will be violated. I mean, we ain't going to strip search you. If they would have done that, these kids right here would have been found years ago, man. Oh, hold on. I want to show this. I just want to show y'all this right here. Then I'm going to get on up out of here. Oh, man. What are these dang on? Right there. Right there. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's take that off. Let's go over here. I just want to show y'all this. I'm sorry. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ring saving. I want to show y'all this right here. I have to be more careful. Right there. This is the guy. Right? This is the guy right here. And what really drew me to this story, he had them girls in his house for 10 years, 3 of them. And what drew me to this story is he plays bass guitar. He plays bass guitar. So he got 2 other brothers. They arrested the 2 brothers, and they was like, we had no idea. I mean, now that you think about it, he never lets her go upstairs. And most of the time when I come to my brother's house, because my brother, he a little weird, and you don't want to violate your brother's house. You just go out and have dinner with him and everything. I never knew. Only thing I noticed that's this now I understand why every time we went in the house, we come through the back door, we go in the kitchen. This is what the brother said now. We go to the kitchen, and he had the TV up so loud. I thought he was just deaf or something. Why you got the TV up so loud? So I'm talking to my live stream, and I think people watching this video, y'all probably y'all look this up, man. Please look this up, dog. 3 missing women found in the most unexpected way. 3 missing women found. They was on an Oprah show. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say, then I'm gonna get out of here. He was in court with them saying that things like, I really treated them nice. We was like one big happy family. And that lady, one of the girls yelled out, was like, what? How dare you? You took 10 years of my life away. Order in the court. I would have been, and she calmed down. If that was me, order in the court? Wait a minute. When the heck I'm gonna get to speak out? F y'all. He stole me for 10 years. So he finally committed suicide. Something need to happen, man. Something need to happen, man. I'm gonna get on up out of here because I want to talk to my lab about some of the ideas that I'm a type of person. I'm looking for solutions, man. Everybody talking about this. Oh, that's sad. That's horrible. Everybody talking about this. We got to find some solutions. So we should change the stream to, let's see if Mike Cross Solutions will solve human trafficking. I know it would in this country. I know it would. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.